Okay, you're welcome today. I'm really, really excited to be beside you because I've been hearing so much about you. Artist management. Now, that's what a lot of people have not been getting right recently. Everybody's getting into it. Oh,
absolutely.
I've opened I have my record label now. You see artists moving from their record label to other record labels. You see people just saying, okay, I'm going to manage myself and all that. So what does it take to be a talent manager?
The major problem we have in the industry is people pick up the title and the role without taking our time to know what it entails. So it's not just my friend from the hood, from the neighborhood, come through, let's do this together, let's hustle it out.
Right.
At the beginning, that might work, but as the brand begins to grow bigger, you need a lot more professionalism to sustain that brand. I mean, we can see almost everybody's an artist today. So there needs to be that X factor to keep your brand marketable and wanted by brands. So essentially, anyone who wants to manage a talent, whether artists, actors, actresses, what have you, needs to first master the art of human resources management. It's very important. You're managing this person's personal life and business. You also need to be able to merge that with business development effectively. So not only are you in charge of ensuring that this person mixes with the right crowd, this person upholds the right image before the world, you also need to come up with strategies to ensure that the person's brand value grows and you stay in business for long, because there are way too many people trying to grab the fish out of your hand. So I think it's come to a point where artists or, labels or management companies need to cautiously train the people they put in charge of their artists. It's a lot of work.
Okay, because nowadays you see people, one man does it all. I'm the producer, I'm the artist manager. Oh, I have a bit of knowledge in business management, so I should be able to tackle this situation. So you mentioned the criteria as what it takes to be an artist manager, but what are the pros and cons of being an artist manager?
The wrong way to go is to want to do it all. I usually say you cannot want to reach, 30 million fans, 100 million fans if you want to go international. You cannot want to do that and achieve it on your own. It's absolutely impossible. It has to be a team around the artist. That is a brand, it's a business. So one guy just doesn't wake up, put his number on social media of the artist and think you can do it alone. Because there's a lot behind the scenes. We run an artist management, talent management company, and we are a team of 8 people.
Wow.
It might seem like, yes.
Wow.
So we have a couple of artists we manage, but for each artist, you have a different person handling the road management, a different person handling the business management, a different person handling the PR. Wow. There's someone who needs to take care of relationship with brands and street promos. There's a lot that happens behind the scenes.
It cannot be done by one person.
Absolutely not.
Let me multitask. It cannot be done by one person.
Absolutely not. You're going to, you see, we have one-hit wonders. We have artists who came up very promising and then within 1 or 2 years, it's gone down. These are some of the problems. You need an A&R professional whose basic job is to go around studios knowing what sound is actually
in vogue
at the moment. So the person helps with the direction of what you do in the studio, what music you churn out and all that.
Wow.
So it's not, we need to know it's different from there's someone who can pick up my calls and who can accompany me to the club and we can turn up together. No, it's a lot more than that.
Wow.
If you see the brands who've been able to stand the test of time in Nigeria, in Africa, go investigate. There's a team around them and there's hard work going on day and night. This thing is a lot more difficult than bank out.
Wow.
You're going to the bank in the morning, you leave at maybe 6 p.m., your salary comes at the end of the month. Here you need to strategize, you need to work, you need to implement, you need to keep on top of your game at all times to ensure that the next guy who released the hit yesterday doesn't come steal your shine totally and then you're back to square one.
Wow. Wow. That's serious. So looking at the Nigerian music industry, who would you say is doing it right? Because I remember some time ago, recently, artists like the band came up to say, oh, after the Maven Records, no other record label is really doing it right. Everybody else is just coming up to say, oh, I can do this, I can do that. They're not doing it right. It's just in shambles. So who is doing it right in the industry and why do you think they're doing it right?
First and foremost, there's a difference between a record label and a management.
Okay.
So where I think they get it wrong most times is, yeah, so you sign the artist, you're financing his career. You're not necessarily meant to be his manager. It's either, it could be done in two ways. It's either you want to hire a management within your label and run, you know, run those bills throughout the year, or you finance the career and you hand this artist over to a professional management to handle. So, I mean, you don't, it's not far-fetched. Look at Two-Face Idibia. Okay. He's been proclaimed a legend today. It's not necessarily because he's the most talented artist in Nigeria, but he's got the right people behind him who have been able to understand what it means to manage and sustain a brand. And so he's been evergreen over the last decade or more than the last decade. There are years when Two-Face doesn't have a hit song, but Two-Face still keeps his position in the industry. There's been brands like the Twin Brothers, the P-Square guys. P-Square,
exactly.
Yeah,
although they had a meltdown recently. So is it wrong to say, okay, my brother can be my artist manager, he has the know-how, he has the knowledge, so he should be. Do you think family should be moved away from it?
Not necessarily. Because for the years that Jude did it, he did it well. I mean, we worked with P-Square on more than 6 projects. And I mean, we could commend Jude's business sense, alertness. Those guys are on time. You give them call time. You don't need to go chase them in their rooms. I don't know how he manages to do it, but if you say, Jude, your guys are supposed to be here for 9, he's like, okay, cool, and you're there for 9 a.m. You know, so he was able to handle it well. But what I think as well is, from the beginning, some things were missing. Again, irrespective of your relationship with the artist, you need to define it from the beginning. You need to, the papers have got to be signed. The structure has got to be properly put in place, discussed and negotiated. Everybody has an understanding from the beginning. I want to believe that's part of the issues they had. People not knowing their place from time. So the sort of a clash of interest. If you listen to Peter Okoye's interviews he gave in the last couple of weeks and months. So I think that's where they got it wrong. But for the while where they were together, you can agree with me that these guys were doing great. In Africa, basically, for the last like 6 years, they've been the highest paid artists. For the last, I mean, they're the only Nigerian artists who actually take in as much as $100,000 and above for a performance. Wow, this is not what I've been told. This is what I have had to pay them for an event on more than one occasion, despite our relationship. So they did well. And I mean, if you're Morige for Two-Face, Jude Okoye and his team for P-Square, there are a couple more others. EME did really well for Wizkid. They built a brand out of him. The band, I mean, he's right to talk about the Mavins because Don Jazzy actually picked up a boy and made a brand. But back to why things have to be defined from the beginning. You know, despite all the Don Jazzy again, the badge sang, they broke up. They broke up, true. So if things are properly defined, then when it gets to that stage, everybody knows how to handle the exit so that it's not a messy situation. Talking about the defining the situation, that's where law and business comes in. To be frank, contracts are not really so great recently. I don't know about before now for artists, but it's not so great recently. You have talents telling you that, oh, my managers want this much. I can understand, okay, you want this much because I spend this much or I do run it around and all that, but I think the artist should gain more because his talent is his market. He should gain more. He should be able to have like maybe 70% and the management should have 30%. I don't know. What do you think about that? Is what is the statement? What is it supposed to be? How is it supposed to be? Now let me explain. There are different dynamics, and I think each case should be treated as unique. For example, you have contracts, artist management or label contracts that state that the label is in charge of your wardrobe, you have monthly allowances. I mean, even when you haven't started making money for the label, you're already getting monthly allowances.
Getting a car,
an apartment. The label probably takes care of even your personal family problems. So there are a lot of those, trust me. So it should be tailored to the unique situation. If you pick up an artist who's already comfortable, he's already living in a Lekki Phase 1, all the artists want to live, which is like the business hub. He's got his car already. You're not taking that much burden on you. Then you can make your financial weight, the weight on you is a bit less, so you can make the contract a bit softer. But if you're going the 9th mile from the beginning, it's usually between 70-30 or 60-40, which is to the label the greater percentage and to the artist the smaller percentage.
Okay.
But this artist needs to understand that there's a lot more done with that percentage if, I mean, the label or the management is doing their job right. There's a lot more done with this percentage than just go sit in the bank.
Okay.
At times, we have to negotiate. You have an upcoming artist and you want him to do an event in Nairobi. You're getting a local promoter in Nairobi to help you handle his job there. That promoter is going to be asking you for percentages, sometimes ridiculous ones. Wow. So now, from your percentage, you're also sorting other people just to ensure that this brand grows, this artist crosses borders, he's seen with, I mean, the right kind of people in there. He doesn't understand this. Okay. You know, there's a lot that goes on with that 60 or 70% that seems a lot. However, a smart label or management would ensure that there is a balance. As the brand is growing and begins to make money for the label, it's normal to call a sit and talk and do a renegotiation to say, at this point, let's up your percentage to like 50. Don't let the artist get, you know, grouchy by himself and say, man, they're ripping me off, I've been making money. That's something I think they didn't handle well with Wizkid and the EME crew, because I think when we started bringing in a lot of funds to they should have been the constant seeing that, okay, we have made back our the money that was initially spent.
We don't have to increase our percentage.
So we need to reduce our percentage for them to be a balance. It should get to a point when the label is actually now taking 40 and the artist 60. If he's doing that well, it's business. Rather than lose all, it's better to have a bit of something than nothing. You've put in so much work in the last 4 or 5 years for the duration of the contract. You don't want the contract to end and the guy is like, the door, I've been waiting to run out of here. You want to give him an offer that is juicy enough to keep him, for you to keep reaping. I mean, it doesn't matter if it gets to 2080. If this guy has made you 20 times your investment and you have been able to sustain his brand, rediscuss, get to a middle ground so he doesn't feel cheated. He's got to grow after all.
All right, so is there any way an artist can get it wrong with decision making when it comes to contract?
Too many. They don't even read.
They don't read it.
95% of the artists in Nigeria don't bother looking out. What they ask is, how many percent?
Most times,
That's all.
But I've seen a contract myself, and it's compiled with a lot of English and everything. The lawyer will make it so complicated. It's not simple enough for the artist to, okay, this is what
then get a lawyer, pay a lawyer. That's his job. You know, everybody should know where their place is. Get a lawyer, pay him. Make it clear to him that his job is to protect your interests, and he will.
So, as an artist, you must have a lawyer stuck to you.
Have to.
Take
never
care of
sign,
even though this is my label or these people signed me on.
Never sign a contract blindly with a label, no matter how desperate you are. Take time and study the contract. Know the implication of what you have signed. Know what is your due in terms of royalties, intellectual property. It is very important. But sadly, the artists here really could care less.
Wow.
They are in a hurry to just blow.
And get out there. Wow, so much to learn from you. I wish you could continue and talk. No. Okay, so if someone wants to get in contact with you, want to discuss as an artist, independent artist, maybe I don't have a management, and I want to discuss with you, maybe get your team on board, how do I get in contact with you?
We've got an official number. This may be short, but just go on Instagram and look for Qtaby Events. Qtaby Events. Qtaby Events. Okay. I mean, DM us even on Twitter, it's Qtaby Events 1. On Instagram, Qtaby Events. Facebook, Qtaby Events. You can find us there. The email as well is info@qtabyevents.com. So it's easy to just drop us a mail. We are speed on it. Automatically we respond.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you.